What's up, guys? Well, something came to me this evening and I wanted to share it with you. For the first time since I started collecting knives, I'm not chasing a knife. There's not a knife out there that I just have to have. I was scrolling through the group. I was looking at the latest buy, sell, trade post, scrolling through other groups, scrolling through Blade HQ, a couple other groups, and I realized as of right now, I have every knife I want. Um, so since I started collecting, I would buy what I could afford, and then when I got a few knives together, I would sell them off and buy one or two expensive knives. I sold five or six. You know how we do. But in my particular case, I've always kept doing that until I always find a better knife and a better knife and a better knife. And what I mean by that is a better knife for me. There's, of course, better knives that cost more, that are made out of more exotic materials, but there's a knife for me that is the sweet spot. Okay, you can still carry it, and it may not cut open concrete sacks with it, but it's just built perfectly. But it's still a usable knife. It's a usable shape. It's not some oddball shape. It's a usable collector edition knife. Okay, that I would carry and use for my main knife on a daily basis, an everyday carry. And I wanted to show you where I'm at. These are the best I've found. Some of these I've sold and bought one back because I realize I need that in my rotation. I need that in my collection. So everybody asks me when I post my knives, which one's your favorite? Which one could you not live without? Well, none of them. The ones that I have are the ones I want. I carry different ones different days, and here's where I ended up. And I've always tried to keep, I've had this knife roll a long time, and then one just like it with the same amount of hole compartments before. I've always tried to keep just enough knives that would fit in here so my collection didn't get out of control, because I have a lot of knives come through my custody. I buy and sell a lot of knives. And I still buy knives. If I find a deal on a knife, I'll buy it, hang on to it for a while, and when they become, scarce, I'll sell it, make $50, $100 on it, or sometimes do a little better than that. But some of these are just knives they're not expensive knives. They're just great knives for what they are. They're legends in the community, like the Rat One. Knives I have that have been around forever, like the Striders, the Ritter Hogue, or Griptilian, whatever you want to call it. Griptilian was one of my very first, what I call, good knives. That Hogue is better. And then, as you know, a huge part of my collection was Medfords. And then, I moved on from that and got other stuff. And last week, I got another Medford for the first time in a long time. And I remember that I love them. And it's a beautiful knife. And it needs to be in my collection. They're American made. They're built solid, titanium, S35VN, Tonto blade. The only thing that I would do differently with this one, and I always seem to have that, is I wish it was S90V, but I've had the S90V and I sold it. So Medford Slim Midi. These are newer to me, and this is I'll tell you that this is my favorite knife of all my knives that I own. This is my favorite, the Mini Goblin in titanium. This, to me, is the coolest knife for me. The lines, the feel of it, the fidget factor. That's my favorite knife. I don't have any problem saying that, hands down. Chris Reeves was my first mid-tech knife. Of course, I didn't have the one with the inlays. I had the cheapest one, that gets the snail trails real bad. I chased this for a year and just recently got it because I love that machine finish on there. Carbon fiber inlays. I had to have this in my collection. The 31. I've always avoided micarta. I got this in my hand and realized I was not very smart for doing that, because Micarta feels awesome. Chris Reeves. I believe that's a staple of a collector's collection. This man changed all the knives that we have, right? With the integral lock. My very first quality knife was a Benchmade grip Julian. This is the Ritter Hogue, a better version of it, but 20 CV. This is all a person needs. This is all a collector needs to carry every day. I mean, this knife will last you a lifetime, hands down. The knife that I carry the most, Strider S&G limited edition. This one's specifically the fatty with the aluminum scale. For some reason, these S&Gs have the best action of any knife I've ever handled. It just feels amazing. I like it so much, I bought a second one because I was worried something would happen to it. They're pretty difficult to find. These are amazing knives. I would not consider selling these. Bill Koenig, period. Exclamation point. And one of the newer guys to the game, been around a long time, but a household name now, and well earned. I've never carried this knife, but it's such an amazing knife. It's not really my taste as far as the shape, but it's such an amazing knife. I'll probably never get rid of it. It feels like it weighs a half an ounce. It's a great knife. It's beautiful. It's made well. Made well is an understatement. I feel this knife feels like it's made by NASA. It just has a feeling. It has almost the feeling that this one has. This one's special. This one is just me. The Arius and the Mini Goblin, just in case you don't know. And I only have this. I only bought this knife for reviews, for a size sample, right? So I can put it up against there and people would know what size this knife was, because everybody knows what this size is. I use the crap out of this knife around the house. Anytime I need to cut something around the house, if my knife roll is sitting right there, I always use this one. You can't hurt this knife. It's a tank. It costs nothing. They're like 40 bucks. D2 steel. It's just a knife you have around, right? You're never going to trade this to trade up. It's not really a tradable knife. It's so cheap. Who wants to buy it secondhand? So, I don't know if all these will get into frame, but these, right now, are the best knives I can find. I have a group with 14,000 members, tons of knives posted every day. We have like 16,000 posts a month. YouTube review channel, Instagram. Out of all those places, Blade HQ, everywhere we all shop. Oh, another one of my favorites is Arizona Custom Knives. I used to scroll through there and see 4 or 5 knives I just really had to have. I don't have a knife right now I'd really have to have. I have them. And it's not a lot of knives. That's my entire collection. And I think it's a pretty awesome one. So, anyway, I just want to share that with you guys. It's first time that's happened to me since I started collecting knives, that there's really not a knife out there that I desire to have. This is it. And I've had hundreds, and literally hundreds of knives. But these are my cream of the crop. Guys, have a great night. Pray for our country. God bless you and your families. Good night.